What if I told you an invisible spotlight follows you everywhere? For years, I felt its heat. Walking into a coffee shop wasn't just grabbing a drink. It was a performance. Every step, every sip, every shuffle toward my friend's table. Are they staring? Is my walk weird? Did I spill something? Why am I holding this cup like it's going to explode? Instead of tasting the coffee or hearing my friend's story, I was auditing myself. For them. My posture, my laugh, even how I sat, overanalyzed. And the crushing part, no one was watching. That microscope was in my hand. Same script at the gym. Newbie me wobbling through lifts, positive everyone saw a clown. That smirk, about my form. That sigh, judging my weights. Parties, family dinners. The spotlight never clicked off. Even writing or working out, things that should have freed me, got poisoned by fear. What if my sister thinks these workouts are pathetic? What if my friends mock my face? Exhausting. But here's the real question. What if that fear isn't brokenness, but human wiring? And why does it cut so deep? Ever feel like your hobbies are under a magnifying glass? What if they mock me for writing instead of lifting heavier weights? I'd spin in circles inside my own head, exhausted, wishing I could just live without that draining weight of imagined opinions. I used to think people cared deeply. That Instagram post, they're analyzing my caption. That story about my coffee run, they'll remember this. Even bumping into someone at the shop, I'd picture them replaying it at home. Did she seem awkward? Was her shirt wrinkled? If I traveled, surely they're jealous. Or judging my choices. But then it hit me, they weren't. Not because they're cruel, not because they're cold, but because they're human, just like me, swamped with their own invisible spotlights, their own bills, their own heartbreak, their own silent battles. That photo you posted, they scrolled past in 3 seconds. That awkward encounter, they forgot before they reached the parking lot. Even your mistakes, they blur into yesterday's noise. Why? Because everyone's fighting a war you know nothing about. And in their war room, you're not the villain, the hero, or even a subplot. You're background static. So if they move on that fast, why can't we? Why does that fear still cling like glue? Maybe they notice. Maybe they whisper. But here's the truth they forget. Fast. We're not the starring role in their story. We're a footnote. And when that clicked for me, strangely freeing. If no one's keeping score, why was I sweating every move? Take that guy on the motorcycle. Saw him take a spill once, just a wobble really. People rushed over. He was fine. But later, did I replay his stumble? Judge his balance? Nope. By lunch, I'd forgotten it happened. My brain had already slammed back into my world, my deadlines, my sore muscles, my dreams. And that's the humbling, beautiful relief. Everyone's too busy starring in their own drama to critique yours. We torture ourselves thinking they're replaying our awkward moments in high definition. But their minds, they're on rent, their kids' fever, that deadline breathing down their neck. Your embarrassing moment. A blip. A flicker. Gone. So why does this knowledge feel like freedom, but the fear still lingers? How do we turn knowing into living? Let's be clear, this isn't about becoming selfish, worrying how others see us, human, but letting imaginary judgments steer your life. That's where the prison door slams shut. Should we ignore all feedback? No. If someone's critique helps you grow, swallow the pride. Use it. But most opinions, static. Learn to tell the difference between a lifeline and noise. So here's your freedom formula. Focus relentlessly. Train hard. Sleep deep. Wake early. Chase that 1% better you every single day. Parked in the wrong spot. So what? Said something awkward. So what? Fumbled at the gym. So what? Mistakes aren't performances. They're classrooms. Why does that spotlight feel so real? Blame evolution. For thousands of years, exile from the tribe meant death. Your brain's still running that ancient software 1. Wrong move equals rejection equals extinction. That's why your palms sweat at parties. Why your throat closes mid-presentation. It's not weakness. It's a misfiring survival instinct. Your caveman brain screams, they'll cast you out, when you botch a deadlift or post vulnerable writing. Social media turbocharges this. Every like, tribal approval, every ignored story, ancient rejection pain. We've traded campfires for comment sections, but the dread's identical. Recognize this, your fear isn't broken. It's outdated. That life, or death panic, just prehistoric code misfiring in a coffee shop. Time for a software update. But if the tribe isn't judging, why does the inner critic rage on? Meet your true enemy, the inner heckler. That voice whispering they think you're weak at the gym. They're mocking your passion about your writing. That's not them. It's you projecting insecurities onto imaginary critics. Your triggers: expose it gym anxiety means you feel inexperienced. Fear sharing writing means you doubt your worth. Party overthinking means you feel not enough. Silence it with 3 questions. 1. Is this thought fact or fear? 2. Would I say this to my best friend? 3. Whose voice is this really? Often a parent, teacher, or bully from years ago. That judgmental stare at the squat rack. Usually just someone zoning out between sets. The eye roll about your novel. Often their own insecurity about unused talents. Stop outsourcing your self-doubt. The mic drop moment comes when you realize the heckler's volume knob is in your hand. Now, how do we turn this awareness into unshakable action? Meet real warriors who weaponized this. Derek's gym transformation. For 6 months, he trained in the empty corner, convinced veterans, judged his form. Then he applied the tribal wiring insight. This fear kept ancestors alive. But no lions here. He started counting what moments. Dropped a dumbbell. So what I'm learning. Wore mismatched socks. So what my legs work. Today, he coaches new members through their anxiety. Lena's novel breakthrough. Her cringe drafts stayed hidden for years, haunted by what if they mock my themes. She used the inner heckler questions. 1. Fear, not fact. 2. She'd never crush a friend's dream. 3. Her 8th grade teacher's voice. Published raw chapter 1 online. The judgment. 1 comment. This helped me feel less alone. Their secret? Micro braveries, not giant leaps. Daily 1% defiance of the spotlight. Park crookedly on purpose. Share an imperfect idea. Fail visibly. Each so what starves the fear. The only judgment that truly shapes your life. Your own. Not the stranger's smirk. Not your aunt's backhanded compliment. Yours. So pull on the blinders. Tunnel vision on your growth, your goals, your grit. At the end of the day, it's just you versus yesterday's you. And that battle, that's where magic happens. If this freed you, let me know. What's one so what moment you'll own this week? Drop it below. Enjoyed this? Pay it forward. Share with someone shackled by imaginary spotlights. Subscribe for daily mindset tools. Remember, the world doesn't have time to judge you. Why waste time imagining it?